Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I have Dr. Kate Henry here. She's a neuropathic doctor. She uses biofeedback, mindfulness training. She uses nutrition, lifestyle modifications, and preventative medicine to help people live their healthiest lives. She's trained as a family physician and uses natural methods, nutrition counseling, physical medicine, um, just to help people get well and live healthy lifestyles. She's trained in pharmacy and minor surgery. So she's going to talk to us a little bit about her training today, what she does, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Kate.
Hi guys. Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you today. And hopefully you'll learn something new. There's a page at the end. I want you guys to know I have a chat option through my practice where you can call me for 15 minutes to chat about, usually people will call about a health problem. But if any of you are interested in learning more at the end or you've got more questions that didn't get answered, feel free to call me. It's tough to have everyone come shadow in the office right now. So that's something I really want you to know. I'm happy to talk with any of you. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see my presentation. And because I'm sharing my screen, just make sure that if you have questions, you write them down because we'll get to them at the end. So let me. Okay, can you see?
Yep.
Good.
Here it is. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So naturopathic medicine. It is preventive natural medical care. My name is Dr. Kate. I am here with you today to cover a couple things. So first, we're going to talk about what naturopathic medicine is because it's quite confusing. It's a hard word to say. It's not a very common medicine on the East Coast. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people haven't even heard of it before today. So we're going to talk about what it is, why you might become a naturopathic doctor, what makes naturopathic medicine different from other forms of medicine, and then what an ND does every day. And I'll talk about what I do in my practice and also what some of my other colleagues do in their practices, because every ND practices a little bit differently, and then how you can learn more. So the big question before we start, I know a lot of you guys already know what you want to do. And I definitely thought I knew when I was 18. I chose to go into political science. I thought I was going to go into the child welfare system. I had a really profound experience with my health where I got diagnosed with celiac disease at 21, and it changed my life. And it made me realize how important nutrition was for not only physical health, but mental health. I had really struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression. A lot of you guys know friends who have panic attacks or who are really sad a lot and just can't seem to get better. That all cleared up for me when I got rid of gluten, and it's really put me on a path of understanding the science of how food can affect you. And so for me, I just felt like I wanted to do that with other people. I wanted to give them that healing and that freedom. And so the big question, I know with you have so many questions with your career and like what's going to make you money, what you'll enjoy. But for me, it's also what makes you happy. Oh, you guys can probably see yourselves on the side of the screen, huh? Can you see this? No? Okay. All right. So for me, it's helping people. Really love, I think that people are amazing, right? And so many people are high performers and they're just struggling with some aspect of their health that makes it hard for them to get through the day. So you are smart and you're brilliant and you're kind, but it's like every day you get out of bed, it's a struggle. You're tired, you're fatigued. My joy is to remove that struggle for people. So then they don't wake up tired anymore. And after that, they just take off. They have like unlimited potential. That's what makes me the happiest. I also think there's a lot of shame that people have when our bodies don't work right. And when we can fix that and help them heal, a lot of that shame drops away. So it's no longer like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just do this? Instead, it's an understanding of, oh, this is how my unique biochemistry works. And this is what my body needs to thrive. And it changes the whole narrative and it really adds to a lot of joy for people. That makes me really excited. And then I also am really passionate about doing medicine in a way that's affordable, sustainable, efficient, and fun. I think that connection is so important in medicine. You should know your doctor, you should trust your doctor, an enjoyable experience going to the doctor. So that's part of my mission too. So to do all of that, I became a naturopathic doctor. This job allows me to do all of those things every day. I never feel like I'm working a day in my life. It's really awesome. Um, and so we're going to talk a little bit about what exactly naturopathic medicine is. It's a distinct system of prevention and a self-healing process for the use of natural therapy. Now that is a mouthful, but what I want you to really zoom in on is the word prevention and natural therapy. We're going to dig a little deeper into what makes naturopathic medicine different specifically. And we're going to start with the 6 principles because that's where we really can see this. So the 6 principles of naturopathic medicine, the first is first do no harm. That's not unique, right? Every doctor who gets licensed takes that oath, and you don't even have to be a doctor, any health professional. None of us want to do harm, and we all take an oath to not do harm. So I'm going to focus on the other 5 because that's really what makes naturopathic medicine special. So the second principle is docere. And docere comes from a Latin word. It is a Latin word that means to teach, and it's the root word of the word doctor. So docere is the principle of doctor is teacher. And so a lot of what I do is teaching. So I always tell my clients, my goal is to introduce you to your own inner physician. We all have one, right? We all know when we eat something, if it makes us feel bad or if it makes us feel good. We all know that when we go for a walk in the sunshine, it makes us feel better. But over time, a lot of us can get separated from our own inner knowing and wisdom about our body. And a lot of us have never been really taught how our bodies work. So it's my goal to give everybody the education I got in medical school when it comes to their particular health concern. And that way, eventually, they don't need me, really. They eventually go on and they really know how to take care of their bodies and heal themselves. Then that's where the next principle comes in. Vis medicatrix naturae, which means the healing power of nature. And that nature is twofold in this sense. It's your nature as a human, and it's nature as in the nature outside. So you guys know, we're going to talk about this in a minute, there are so many plants that have medicinal uses for humans, right? We make a lot of our pharmaceuticals from plants. You eat plants, they make you healthier, but also your human body has its own natural healing abilities. You've all had a cut on your skin, you wash it out, and if you leave it go, it will heal itself. So a principle of naturopathic medicine is to respect the healing power of your own body and of nature. Another principle is Tole causum, which means identify and treat the root causes. So rather than medicating the symptom, right? So giving ibuprofen to cover up pain, or maybe giving a medication to lower hypertension, you try to fix the root cause. You try to fix what's causing the pain or fix what's causing the hypertension instead. And that's ultimately cheaper long term, and it adds to health. So instead of just taking a pill, you're actually now healthier. The next is Tole Totem, which means treat the whole person. So you are not just your IBS, or whatever it is, in our system, we have a great healthcare system in America. We have amazing specialists, but if you're going to specialist after specialist, sometimes you can start to feel like you're just your problems, right? Like you're just your heart condition or you're just your IBS. And it's nice to have somebody in your corner who knows the whole you and who can actually help you navigate the healthcare system. And that's a lot of what naturopathic doctors do. And then the last is prevention and wellness. So really emphasizing whole person health so that you are resilient and resistant to disease long term. That's what makes naturopathic medicine awesome. To do all these things, we have a lot of tools that we use. We'll go through each of these in a systematic way here in a minute. I want you to start to just notice some of these, but the key takeaway I want you to have here is that naturopathic training equips you to answer the question that the smartest people I know always ask, which is when, not what, is best. So it's not this argument of are pharmaceuticals better or supplements better? Is nutrition better or counseling better? No, right? So we're going to use all of it, and the smartest people just know when it's appropriate to use which tool. So this is where the therapeutic order comes unique to naturopathic medicine. So you can see here at the bottom, we start with establishing optimal health. And then as you work up, this therapeutic order gets more and more interventionist, right? All the way up to suppressing pathology, which can include chemotherapy, surgery, whatever the patient needs. And so this is the framework under which we'll use all of our tools. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog. He wants to be pet so badly now. Sorry. He's probably breathing really heavy in the computer. Okay. So naturopathic medicine, the tools and modalities. We're going to go through each of these really quickly. So nutrition. So, naturopathic doctors get several years of nutrition training in our program. And to me, that's another name for biochemistry, right? Like your cells are made from every single thing that you eat, and that's it. Everything you eat, drink, and breathe. And so understanding how the human body works and the nutrients that it needs for all of the processes it does every day is really important. And I wanted to show you an example here of how nutrition and biochemistry come into play in the regular doctor's office. So here you see for cholesterol management, you guys are familiar, you've probably heard of statins being used to lower cholesterol. But what a lot of people haven't heard is that the same medications that interfere with cholesterol production, which is a great thing for people with high cholesterol, but statins also block the production of something called CoQ10, which if you look over at this mitochondrial electron transport chain, it's this Q. It's these little dots over here. So what I want you to see, and you probably remember this from biochemistry, is that they're linked, right? So when you're a naturopathic doctor, you're keeping in mind, if you're prescribing a statin, what's going to happen to this person's CoQ10 status, and how is that going to affect the energy in their mitochondria, which is that's the energy of your whole body, of every single cell of your body. So that's just one example of how biochemistry and nutrition can play a part. And you can talk to your clients about how to supplement with CoQ10 if they are on a statin. And sometimes that's just eating more organ meats, right? Or maybe it's taking a supplement if they don't want to do that. But at least you're empowered to have the conversation with people if they want to know their options. So the next tool is botanical medicine, which is also known as herbal medicine. And think about any part of a plant, right? So it's not just like basil. You can use bark, you can use mushrooms, you can use seaweed. There are medicinal uses of so many plants on this planet. And so you get several years of training in botanical medicine as a naturopathic doctor. And what's great is because we'll talk a little bit more about my training in pharmacy, but a lot of herbal medicines have interactions with pharmaceutical medications. And so this education is more important than ever when people are often self-prescribing herbs, right? So they'll go online, they'll order a detox tea, they don't realize it has licorice in it, and it's totally making their hypertension worse because licorice will cause you to retain salt and raise your blood pressure. Perfect example of why getting training in herbal medicine is more important now than ever if you really want to help your clients holistically. The next is hydrotherapy, and that's just the use of hot and cold. So if you have friends on the track team, they jump in a bucket of ice after they run a race, you're familiar with hydrotherapy. Or if you listen to Joe Rogan and you hear about him doing the sauna and then a cold plunge, that's hydrotherapy. And so naturopathic doctors get training in how specifically to use applications of heat and cold to help usually stimulate blood flow to help people heal. Physical medicine, we get several years of physical medicine training. So learning how to assess biomechanical dysfunction and treat it. So actually we learned to do chiropractic adjustments, therapeutic stretching, taping. A lot of naturopathic doctors will choose to really specialize in their physical medicine modalities and go on to help people who are high performing athletes or who are in chronic pain. And I actually have an interview with one of my classmates who did that on IGTV. It was really fun. We talked about concussion. Another tool is counseling. So we learned what's called acceptance and commitment-based therapy in school. And a big part of that's motivational interviewing. So I see some head nods. I feel like you guys have heard this before. But basically, it's like nobody walks in my clinic and I've prepped and usually have a preliminary treatment plan, but I'm really searching to know what's important to them and how are we going to measure success in a way that matters to them, right? So maybe I'm thinking they want to they want their mood to be better, they want their anxiety to be lower, and they want their joint pain to go away. And really what their metric of success is they want to have more days where they can run after their grandkids or more days where they don't have indigestion. So it's what's important to the person and then what's in alignment with their values. So we always do a values-based inventory. I try to use their language to form the treatment plan. And then it's up to them where they want to go. It's just my job to help them get there. What's cool about my appointments too, so I'm fortunate to have my own clinic. I design my clinic around connection. This is pretty common in the naturopathic community. Our intakes are 90 minutes long. We go through everybody's history from birth until now, every system of the body. And then follow-ups are generally 30 minutes to 60 minutes. And so people get to talk and they get to be heard. And so a lot of what I'm doing is listening. And a lot of times what my clients will say is like, I feel like I got therapy and a doctor session in one visit, which is nice. So you're paying like the price of one, you're getting two things. So it's the goal is to be a safe space for people so that true healing can really happen. I have additional training in biofeedback and mindfulness. And so I work with people in a really targeted way with their nervous system to help them what's called engage in safety. And we can talk about that a little bit more at the end if you guys are interested in learning more. Pharmacy, so we have about 2 years of training in pharmacy. And so in states like Washington State, Oregon, California, Vermont, New Hampshire, we can prescribe prescription drugs. In Pennsylvania, I actually can't. My scope doesn't cover that here. So it's actually pretty cool because I have to use all of my natural methods, and it's amazing because they work. You don't actually need pharmaceuticals most of the time to accomplish some of the more basic things that we tend to do in primary care. But it's great because you need to know how pharmaceuticals work, because often people will come in on pharmaceuticals and they want to get off if they're coming to see a naturopathic doctor, and we can help them either titrate, or a lot of what I do actually is help people understand why they need the pharmaceutical. So it's great because this allows me to be part of the system. I can communicate with other doctors. And then if somebody's coming in and they're like, I really don't want to be on this antidepressant, I want to do things naturally, which is mostly what people walk in the door saying to me. I can explain to them what it's doing in their body on a biochemical level, and then explain to them the path that we'll take to get them off. And explain to them why, again, like it's not what is best, it's when, right? So there are times where you're going to need the pharmaceuticals, period. You'll need them. And then there are times when you won't. And so helping people suss out where they are on that spectrum. Minor surgery, again, states that have more of bigger scope, we can do minor surgery. So you come in, you have a laceration, we can stitch you up. You need a wart removed, offer. If you have a lipoma, we can take that out. And there are people who specialize in that. A lot of naturopathic doctors, they'll go and they'll do all of the advanced training and be able to do all of the cool stuff with skin, and they'll do injections and they can do like Botox, and that is not me, but a lot of my colleagues do that. So this is just a little picture to show you, if you're thinking about naturopathic medicine or you're even interested in it, you should know that a lot like chiropractic medicine, it's regulated differently state to state. So every state has a different scope for practitioners. For MDs, nurse practitioners, well, somewhat, and DOs, it's very similar state to state. For chiropractors and naturopathic doctors, it's very different depending on state line. So in Washington State, I'm licensed as a primary care doctor. I can take Medicaid. I can order any prescriptions, labs, imaging. It's all covered under insurance. Pennsylvania is not the same. So we have registration, but we don't have the same scope, and I can't take insurance here. And that's really up to the state government. And a lot of the reasons that this map looks like it does is because the states that are green have had naturopathic schools of medicine for decades in the state. And so people are really familiar with it. They're confident in the training. Whereas in Pennsylvania, we don't have a school really here or nearby. And so people are less familiar. So you should know that if you're thinking about naturopathic medicine as a career. But so here's a cool thing that I love talking to people about is, where does naturopathic medicine fit in to the existing system? And I like using this analogy, even though it's not perfect, but if you think of your body as a car, or yourself as a car, naturopathic medicine is your maintenance, right? So when you have car insurance, it does not cover your oil change, right? Like it doesn't cover your preventive maintenance. It covers if you're in an accident, and that's pretty much it. And that's a little bit how we need to start to think about health insurance in this country almost, right? Because your health insurance generally doesn't cover you going to the gym, doesn't cover you buying good food. That is up to us. And so naturopathic medicine is really the maintenance of the human body. Primary care doctor, if it's a naturopathic doctor, you can combine these. If you have a different primary care doctor, that's like your pit crew. So you want to roll into the primary care doctor feeling great, right? You want them to like change, like maybe they need to change a tire or something. They need to give you a vaccine. They need to do a screening, but you only have 5 minutes. So things need to be quick. You don't want to roll in there and have a list of 20 problems. It's just not a good fit for the amount of time that you get with that doctor to fix everything. And so a lot of that work can be done outside of the primary care office. And then this picture of this tow truck over here and the police vehicle, emergency and heroic medicine, that's the rescue, right? So like you're in trouble, you were in an accident or you got cancer, like that's where, and as Americans, like we are so lucky, we have amazing primary care and heroic and emergency medicine in this country. And we also have great functional medicine and naturopathic care too. So you kind of get the best of everything, and it's a spectrum and a continuum. So if you're interested in naturopathic medicine, you should know that this is what you need. You need to go to undergrad, do your pre-med prereqs, do biochemistry for the love of God. You will have so much biochemistry in naturopathic school, like you must study it before you go. And then an entrance exam, at least 4 years of medical school. If you dual major, or some schools allow you, if you have a family or you're working, you can extend to 4 or 5 or 6 years to get through school. You take a national boards exam, you get your state license, you can do a residency and then practice. So you guys are already prepared because you're in a program that you're in for about 8 more years of school after this, no matter what you do. So maybe 6, but yeah, so it's a lot of school, but it is a lot of fun and you learn a lot. And I would argue you learn a lot about how to heal yourself and your family. And so it really pays like dividends in your personal life as well to learn how to be healthier. I have a 17-year-old sister. I asked her before this talk what she thought the coolest thing about naturopathic medicine was. And she said, I think most people don't realize that you can feel better without a pill. Like there are things you can do right now, today, for free that will make you feel better. And you don't need to even go to the doctor. Um, and she's like, I don't think most people realize that. So I thought that was so cool and I wanted to share that. So with a question, what do naturopathic doctors do every day, right? So I'll tell you what I do. So I own my own clinic. And so I actually have 2 roles. And a lot of naturopathic doctors own their own practices. And so you're running a business, which means you have a lot to do in terms of like billing and marketing and networking and all the things that come with running a business, but then you also are a provider. And so I do my 15-minute discovery calls with people, which I love to do. I consider that kind of like my public service. Like I just chat with anybody who's interested in picking my brain about naturopathic medicine or who wants to talk about a loved one or themselves. My visits, my initial visits are 90 minutes. My follow-ups are 30 to 60 minutes. I do a lot of food as medicine planning for people. It's something I never like thought I would do a ton of, but so many people are just like, tell me what to eat. You know, don't tell me to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day or like 100 grams of protein. I'm not going to be able to do it on my own. Just like, tell me what to eat for breakfast, tell me what to eat for lunch, tell me what to eat for dinner. So I end up doing a lot of that. I advise people on how to intelligently use supplements if they're going to use them and where to get good sources of them. A lot of times people are taking supplements they really don't need, and they're also not taking some supplements that they might actually benefit from. So my goal is always to be a medical minimalist. Like we did not evolve taking supplements, right? So like you really should not need a ton of them. A lot of times people need them in an acute phase of healing to maybe replete a nutrient deficiency, but the goal is to really get your body optimally providing, and getting what you need from diet. Reviewing labs and chart notes, talking with other providers. So it's a busy day. So that's my day. But there are so many ways to be a naturopathic doctor, right? So you can do primary care. You can work in a low-income clinic. You can work in concierge medicine, which means that you are kind of outside of the insurance model. You might have 100 clients that pay a monthly subscription and you're there whenever they need you. You can do specialty medicine. There are a lot of naturopathic doctors who specialize in integrative oncology. And so they're working with other providers in a group to help people with cancer thrive, right? So like you're going to make it through, you're going to do the chemo and surgery, and then we're going to build you back up. And that's where naturopathic medicine can really come into that building you back up part. Same thing, performance, sports, fertility, mind-body medicine. I do some writing and consulting on the side. A lot of naturopathic doctors will do that. A lot of companies kind of want to pick your brain about like they're developing a new supplement or a new biohacking technology, and they want to see what a naturopathic doctor thinks. Teaching, public education, nonprofits. Again, like if this, I think has made me such a better family member. I cook so much better foods for my family now than I did before I went to school. So that's another way that you can use your education. So here's a couple ways to learn more. If you want to learn more about this, there are a ton of naturopathic doctors on Instagram, on Facebook, like whatever social media you're using, on TikTok. They're on there and they're providing a lot of docere, so a lot of good public education about how the human body works. So go follow them, follow the schools of naturopathic medicine and the Institute for Functional Medicine. And then the NDNR and ANMC are 2 naturopathic organizations that do a lot of public education about what our medicine is. If you want to learn more about me, again, you can call me anytime. You can go to my website. You can watch a lot of the content that I've already filmed, and it will give you more of a sense of like how naturopathic doctors talk to patients, what we tend to talk about, and just more about like what I do every day. So with that, I'm done. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. That way we can see them. Are we good?
Perfect. Yeah. So if you could make me the host Kate, and then I will, guys, if anybody has any questions, if you could kind of put them in the chat room, we can ask Dr. Kate.
Okay, you are the host.
Perfect. Tracy, did you have any questions?
Can you hear me if I talk through Jill's computer?
Yep.
So when you talked about that you have classes when you went to like medical school on counseling, do you just have like classes that kind of teach you how to talk to patients, or do you get kind of like a degree on it as well, or like a certification?
It's not a separate certification, so it's part of our scope to provide counseling. So it's not like a psychotherapy degree, but part of preventive medicine and lifestyle change is that you have to be able to do counseling with people, right? Because like, yeah, when you're trying to get people to change their diet, change their sleep, it's built in that the understanding of that you're going to need like 15 minutes of really talking through with somebody the challenges that come with that, the values that they're going to bump up against, and how to make that lifestyle change. So we get specific training in ACT, which is acceptance and commitment-based therapy, mindfulness-based therapy, and we get about 2 years of that. And it's just part of the degree. It's not like a separate certification.
That's cool. I like that because I definitely think that's really important for the type of like holistic approach that you guys are going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Any lifestyle change that people make, it's not like prescribing a pill, right? It's a completely different type of interaction with the patient and the doctor. Yeah.
So I have a question. So I know diabetes is so common and even growing in our culture. Are there natural ways to really, maybe help people get off insulin, or, if you're that far advanced in your.
It depends if you're type 2 diabetic for sure. Type 1, no. And I counsel people a lot with type 1 diabetes. Like it's a hormone that you just don't produce anymore. Kind of like if you got your thyroid removed. And so you stay on that pharmaceutical, you are grateful for its life-saving ability, then you move on. If you have type 2 diabetes, it's a different story because that's usually caused by insulin resistance. And so we can kind of see where the person is on that journey. Sometimes you need to be on insulin, but that's usually in the most severe cases that have been really severe for a really long time. So totally. And it's not just, there are things that you can do with diet, with intermittent fasting, with fiber, with just educating people about their options for low glycemic meals, and really teaching them a lot about nutrition and movement and sleep. Like you would not believe how important sleep is for glycemic control, which just means like control of your blood sugar. So really helping people form a lifestyle and a diet that's going to optimize the health of their body will help them to start to regulate their insulin sensitivity more and more over time. And yeah, so absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You also mentioned so that you don't take insurance. Is that correct? So, and that's kind of mandated by the state.
Write to your senators, everyone. You're not going to, and it's okay. It's boring to write to a senator, but just maybe like send me good wishes for when I have to go back to Harrisburg and talk to them. Yeah, I can't. So I would, but I can't. So that's regulated by the state legislature. The Board of Medicine has some say, but right now we're just not covered. So there's no parity. So like in Washington, because we have parity with MDs and DOs at Washington State where I trained, it would be illegal for an insurance company not to cover a naturopathic doctor. That is not the case in Pennsylvania. We don't have that same statute. And so I try to keep my prices affordable. So you guys will see, like, if you're interested in functional medicine at all and you're following any functional medicine doctors, they tend to be quite expensive, like thousands of dollars for an initial visit. That's not me. That's not my story. My initial is 90 minutes. And when I say 90 minutes, it means 90 minutes in the office, right? I'm prepping for 90 minutes before they come in. I'm analyzing their diet. I'm going through their whole 16-page intake. We come in, we spend another 90 minutes, and then usually I've got an hour or two after where I'm doing either a food as medicine plan, I'm following up, I'm ordering labs, I'm ordering supplements. It's 5 hours, and it's $250 right now. And then I also do sliding scale. So I try really hard to keep my medicine affordable, and 250 is a lot. Like, it's not when you have overhead and you have to, like, pay rent for your office and stuff. But to pay out of pocket for a doctor, that's a lot. But it's as lean as I can run and really, like, still try to keep my care accessible. So my hope is one day we'll just be a normal part of the system, and Pennsylvanians really deserve that choice, I think, of where they use their insurance and who they use their insurance to see. Right now, we just don't have it, but it'll happen. We're on the path. I think in 3 to 5 years, we'll be there. Especially, I think you're seeing too, like with COVID, people really want to know, how do I boost my own immune system? Like, I'm going to prevent myself from being exposed as much as I can. But if I am exposed, how do I make it so that my immune system is really on point, right? So I'm not vitamin D deficient. And like, you guys have probably seen the studies at this point by now, about like vitamin D deficiency being linked to more severe forms of COVID when people do get it. So I think people are really searching for a doctor who can help them answer those questions, and we'll get there. We're just not there right now.
So do you take like HSAs? Since
People can use their HSA, yeah, to pay for certain. So
Okay.
I've had people use it to get to pay for the visit. People can also use it to order supplements if I'm ordering them like a pharmaceutical grade multivitamin that has specific nutrients I think they need. They can use it to pay for testing. And actually, guys, you might be interested in this, all the teenagers on the call. You do not need a medical license to order your own blood work. You can order your own blood work right now. So you can go on my site under the members area, click order labs. There's a company called Direct Labs. It's legal for you to go in. I don't know why it would ever be illegal. I just, like, most people think that they can't do it. And you can order your own CBC. You can order your own CMP. You can check your own iron, check your own B12. Like, don't check B12 because serum B12 is worthless. Check your methylmalonic acid. We're talking about it. But like, go in and order your own stuff. If you want to check your own family members' cholesterol, go for it. Go order the test. If you don't know what they mean, you can call me. But like, you don't have to wait for a doctor's appointment to order your own lab. So yeah, I don't know why I got on that.
no idea. Who would have thought? So if you could go, because I know people talk. So if you think you have a vitamin deficiency, you could go in and just kind of order your own lab to see.
Yeah, and I might call me before if you're not sure. So like, this is a great example. So vitamin B12, it's a water soluble vitamin. So checking your serum B12 is stupid because it fluctuates all throughout the day. If you took your B12 in the morning, it's going to be high. Later in the day, it's going to be low. It has no indication of like your overall status of B12. Checking something called methylmalonic acid, or MMA, or homocysteine will give you a much better picture of if you have enough B12 to be kickstarting all the biochemical processes that require it in your body, right? So like, if you're not sure, like, cholesterol is pretty easy. You just do a cholesterol panel, you're done. Same thing with iron, like order ferritin. But like, that sort of thing can be a little bit tricky and can be misleading if the results come back and you're like, oh my God, my serum B12 is high. And it's like, well, you just took it before your blood draw. That's fine. So you can call me first. But yeah, it's your right. It's your body. Go in and order it. And I have on my site, Direct Labs gives providers the option to offer this to clients. Normally they do a kickback where I could get like 5%. I just had them give it to you guys. You get even bigger discount because in my practice, I have a promise. I do not make money off of labs. I don't make money off of supplements. I think it's unethical. A lot of practitioners do it to pay their overhead because it is hard to get by not doing that and keeping your prices low. But I think it's completely unethical. How would you know if somebody's just like recommending a test or a supplement to make money, or if they really believe that you need it? And I never want my clients to have that worry. So you can go and that's the cheapest place you're going to get the lab. You can order them yourself.
Okay. I got one other question. So what are your typical work hours? So since you have your own practice, you kind of make them on your own, or?
There are none. I think on my site it says 9 to 5. That is a lie, folks. I work from like 6 a.m. to midnight. It depends. So here's what I'll say. Working for yourself is awesome, right? Because like, I had to take my sister to Massachusetts. She goes to high school in Massachusetts. And I got to take off 3 days to do that. When I got back, I worked 7 a.m. to 11 for the next 4 days. But I can flex my time in that way. So there are no typical hours. And part of that is because if you can't tell by like my fervor right now, I really believe in like democratizing access to medicine, like little d democratizing, like it should be freely available. It drives me insane that banks are open from 9 to 5. Like, why? What does everyone who work do? Like, how do they get to the bank? It makes me so angry. So, like, it's the same thing with medicine. Like, you shouldn't have to take off work or school to see your doctor. Like, great. If you can see me on your lunch break, awesome. And with virtual visits now, it's great because you can just like roll in your pajamas and we're good. But like, if somebody can't see me 9 to 5, I can open my schedule up a little bit. And sometimes I'm talking to people till 8 p.m. I have clients on the West Coast who are 3 hours behind. It's not uncommon for me to be on with them until 11 or 12, but I always get my 8 hours of sleep. But like, it's my honor to be able to customize it to people like that and to really care for people in a way that they need. I never want somebody just like left hanging because they're not available to talk to me from like 8 to 4 or whatever. So there's no typical.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I really appreciate it. And, wish you continued success in your medicine practice.
Thank you. And thank you guys for having me. I'm here for you. If you've got questions, feel free anytime. Go on my site, order labs, ask me first for help. I'm happy to help you so you don't waste your money ordering the wrong thing. But yeah, good luck.
So much.
Yeah, good luck to everybody. You're going into an amazing career pathway, no matter what path along this continuum you choose. We really, really need you. So best of luck.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Kate, and have a great day.
Thank you so much.